Greetings, YouTubians, and welcome back to Wayne Sharp World, where today we are taking a look at a very interesting knife from a very small company. This company is very much up and coming. This may be its first ever model, if I'm not mistaken. But what we are talking about today is none other than the new breed EDC Clydesdale. Now, before I go any further into this review, I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in today. If you like what you see, please do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button, follow along, and I will continue to bring you the content. Now, let's take a look at some overall specs on this knife right here. We have an overall length coming in at 7.625 inches, a blade length of 3.3 inches, and a blade material of 14C28N, which is actually right here. Nice little place to put the blade marking. We have a modified Wharncliffe style blade with a pretty nice hollow grind and a handle length coming in at 4.3 inches. Handle material on this guy is two nice slabs of titanium. So kind of getting that premium type of material for the handle with a liner lock locking mechanism, a user of a right or left hand tip up carry. Again, this knife is very much kind of like at the top of budget and kind of like entering into that somewhat of a premium type of knife, because not a lot of knives have this. You do see it a little more now, but it's really nice to see that nice clean filler tab. So lefties and righties can both have a good looking handle. We have a weight of 4.7 ounces. And this here is designed by Mark Perez. My understanding is he is the guy in charge over there at New Breed EDC. And if you're not familiar with this design, you may be familiar with this design right here. This is the Kaiser Gavel, and this is also a Mark Perez design, as you can see right there, New Breed EDC. So this is under the Kaiser name, and we'll talk more about this in just a second because these two are just both pretty cool. But this is not a Kaiser knife. This is straight under. This is being sent out as New Breed EDC branding, but it's manufactured by Kubi. And I've got to say, Kubi has really impressed me over the past, I would say, 5 to 6 months with their ability to OEM. They have been making some fantastic knives for a lot of the smaller brands who don't have their own resources, that would have to go through a bigger manufacturer. They are doing great work. They make a lot of the knives for Devo knives as well, which is where I also handled some of their work. And outside of the Kubi brand, there's other knives out there that are made by Kubi that are really impressive. Yeah, and this is definitely one of them. Now the price here, the price is coming in at $125. So I think some people may be like, $125 for 14C28N? Well, hold on now, because you got two big slabs of titanium, like I said. You got extra little intricacies here, like the pocket clip filler tab. And when you look in here, we're gonna get into the handle real quick because there's a lot of nice internal milling here on the inside of this titanium. That's machine time. Machine time equals money, and you know that machine time does make this knife a much better knife. It makes it a lighter knife. It makes it a lefty and righty friendly knife. It does all sorts of things that really kind of elevate it and bump it into that kind of like first tier out of what a budget knife is, I guess. But it is a really solid build, and when you compare it to some other knives that you may be a little more familiar with, you're going to see it's a very nice size. Let's compare it here with the Civivi Sikoke, which is a great EDC knife in its own right, as well as the Kaiser Escort. It's going to be very much in line with both of these knives, a little shorter than the Escort, but very much in line with the Sikoke. But in terms of handle and blade, I really don't have much in my collection that can really match up that well with it, because it's sort of that rectangular shape handle. Not really, but it's, you know, it's longer, it's somewhat neutral, but it is also slightly contoured. It feels really good in hand. But before we get into this handle, let's talk about this blade, because this is one beast of a blade. We have a hollow grind coming in at 19 thousandths. A really just kind of a unique front end up here. You know, this may not be everyone's cup of tea. You may not dig it, but I tell you what, this right here makes for some very comfy draw cuts and really any type of tip work. Just feels very natural and very good. That choil down here where my finger is, just a very comfortable way to hold this knife. And of course, if you want to do a more traditional grip, this is also extremely nice because this jimping here, it's not every day you come across a knife that has enough jimping. But ladies and gentlemen, this is one of them. This feels really, really good. That jimping up there really does the grip of the knife as well as just the overall functionality of the blade wonders. Feels good. It's in all the right spots, and it's a perfect texture of jimping. So very, very nice jimping there. You have a really nice cutting edge. Like I said, 19 thousandths hollow grind. It's going to be a pretty slicey knife. And yeah, just a pretty good looking blade in my opinion. Like I said, it's different, it's out there. Let's see if I can wipe this off. I will say, when I was carrying this knife for the review process, usually I'll carry something for 2-3 days, you know, get some use in, and then kind of, you know, form my thoughts and move on, because I can't carry everything for 2 weeks. I just don't have time. There's too much on the table to take a look at. And I really do think 2 to 3 days is enough to get an overall feel of, you know, how a knife's going to work for you. And I found myself carrying this one more than 3 days. I had this one in the pocket for closer to a week because I just really did enjoy carrying it for how well the blade is, but also how good it feels in hand and how fidget friendly it is. There's a lot of good things going on here. When it comes to this blade cutout, very nice. Obviously, a lot more to be said there when we get to the action, but a really nice long blade cutout that makes it a little extra fidget friendly with that nice longer area there. Do a little more with it. But this handle, like I said, this is just a really, really nice handle for a lot of things. Obviously, from an ergonomic standpoint, it's really good. It's somewhat neutral, but you have that very, very slight amount of contouring there that is appreciated, that is noticed in hand. You also have, like I said, that internal milling that helps reduce the weight. You have a nice inset liner lock with an excellent lockup that has a little bit of the beveling there on the liner, so it's really easy to break that lock. Very comfy, very nice. The pocket clip works just fine. I also kind of noticed the pocket clip really kind of matches the blade cutout. So there's really a lot of things going on with this knife that really do work. When you first look at it, you kind of think like this is a bit of an oddball, but it really does all come together quite nicely. I think one thing that would really make this knife like kind of elevated is doing some type of customization to this handle. And you can easily do that with a completely, you know, raw titanium handle. You can send this up to, I believe, Way of Knife up in the Traverse City, Michigan area. They're doing some fun stuff with this knife. They're doing some certain mods that just look sweet. They can do all sorts of different things. But you know, you can do your own anodizing. You can send it somewhere else. There's plenty of places out there doing it, but you get some type of laser work done or some anodization, and that can really, really just make this knife pop. If you want something a little more than just, you know, all the raw, just the raw tie and black, you can really have just, you know, a canvas to do really whatever you want on a nice size of titanium, which I think is really cool. Now, when you get in to the action of this knife, this is where Kubi shines, because the action on this thing is so smooth. I mean, you break that lock, and it's just, whew, it is butter, butter, butter. Very smooth, very enjoyable. It is reach around approved, a little harder on that pull, but that's nice. That means it has a nice crisp detent, and you notice that crisp detent when you're kicking that blade out, because this is a great knife to middle finger flick. And with that wider opening, it makes it really easy to do that reverse flick, as long as you don't have clumsy hands like me, or you have a table right under the knife. Let's try this one more time here. Okay. 4th time is a charm, I promise. There we go, and I still hit the table. Good Lord. Yeah, so you got to get used to it, but again, that's very much not one of the main deployment methods. The front flipper is very nice. Now, this is a wider handle, so I will say your thumb feels like you're giving more of a wider rotation. You know, smaller front flippers or other front flippers in general will feel a little more just quick and snappy with it, as to where this one, you really feel your thumb going all the way over the handle, which isn't a bad thing. It's just kind of the nature of the beast when you have a you know, a bigger handle like this, a taller or wider handle, however you want to look at it. But it is just a really nice hand-filling handle, so that is a big plus to this. But yes, very, very fidgety, very smooth. if you're into middle finger flicking, this knife is for you. And of course, you can also do the thumb flick. It's just, it's not quite as natural for me. Some people are much better at it than me, but this is all about that right there. Very, very smooth action. Very smooth in the close. And just a really, really well overall built knife. I think Kubey is doing a fantastic job in the OEM world. They are doing some awesome things for a lot of smaller brands, and this is a good example of it. I'm digging this one. I really am. I think for 125 bucks, you know, I'm not saying it's a deal of the century, but I think it's a very fair price for this. I think you get a pretty good knife in return, a very good knife in return, actually. Nice materials, excellent fit and finish, and just nice, good fidgety action. So let me know what you guys think of this one, the New Breed EDC Clydesdale. I like it. I really do. I ended up carrying it a lot more than I thought I would, and that is a good thing when you're a knife reviewer. That is a very good thing. Yeah, so let me know what you guys think of this one. I really am looking forward to seeing what else Mark Perez has in the design tank, because if it's anything like this Clydesdale or that Clydesdale and this gavel right here, I think he still has some very good things to bring to the knife community, and I am looking forward to that. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and until the next one, I'm out.